Okay. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to explain an incident that happened to me, in the UK. A lot of this went on in the UK because I lived there for 14 years. This is definitely a spiritual awakening experience that is, pretty bizarre. Again, I was living in Salford with my ex in the UK, and this was early. We moved to Salford in 2007. No, it was 2008. Excuse me, 2008. So this must have happened late 2008, something like that. Yeah, but since everything happened to me, okay, with the heart swirl thing that happened with Joe, that I've explained numerous times before. After all that happened, and this was before I lost my the 5 hours I told you about. Anyways, I was in Salford. Now, one day I was kind of flighty, like in my head. I was on drugs. Not the drugs. I want to make this clear. I was on drugs, but the times that I talk about, I wasn't on drugs. It's not because of the drugs that I experienced these things. Okay? It's not because of the drugs that these experiences happen to me. They're spiritual, okay? So even though I've been on heroin, cocaine, crack, speed, ketamine, weed, I went through it all in the UK with one of my exes. And even knowing that, these experiences that I talk about are not, I repeat, are not drug hallucinations, drug related, or anything like that. They're a direct connection with the spirituality experiences of spiritual awakening for whatever reason. Okay, so when I talk about this experience that I've never told anyone, even in the UK, well, my ex might have known about it because obviously, but he would be the only one. And I don't even think I told him about what happened. I don't think I told him about the whole incident that happened to me. But I'm fixing to talk about it now. Okay. One day in Salford, we lived at Leroy's place. Leroy Harriet, he's passed away, but we used to live in a place in Salford at his house. They called them bed sets. So there was like 12 rooms with. I was the only female at the time, I think, living there before this other girl moved in. But I was the only female, and it was like 12 rooms. There were all men in there, all guys, and I was the only girl. Anyways, at this time, me and my ex were in our room. Our room used to be room 11, and that was a magical room. Loads of shit happened in that room. But anyways, I ended up just going off for a walk, I think. When you're, I would say, angelically protected and looked over and watched over, when you are incapable of, not that you're not incapable of taking care of yourself. You can still shower and eat and all that stuff and take care of yourself. But it's angelic protection because, my consciousness wasn't, but that didn't happen yet. It's just angelic protection over you when things happen. If you're in the situation that I was in. Dang it, my cigarette keeps going out. Okay. So I leave excuse me, I leave our room, and I ended up going for a walk. And I was being led and guided for this walk. Or so I thought. I was following my guide's leads, basically. So where I was being led, that's where I went, and that's what I did. It was like I was being told what to do, and I acted it out. Like my mind, in my I don't know, intuition, consciousness, or whatever, I was being guided to do these things. So I just followed it. You know, it didn't feel uncomfortable. It just felt natural, you know. I'm being led to do this, so let's do it. So I went for this walk. And I was walking down the street, and when I go for a walk in the past, I've been known to go on some long walks. I'd walk for hours. But I was walking down the street, and this was going towards Havadrenis, which would be, you go out of Salford and make a left, and you're going to Havadrenis. And I'm walking, and I come across, I don't know how far I walked, but this was really cool. I was walking down the road, and I seen these horses in this cage, like fenced in area. There was a dozen or more, and I ended up walking up to them. And I got up to them, and all of a sudden, one of these horses, it was a white horse, and it looked at me. And do you know that how the eyes can show emotion, like excitement and happy and love, and, you know, you can see it in the eyes. And this horse's eyes lit up when it saw mine. And it worked its way through the crowd of them horses right up to me and started licking me. You know, just licking my face, licking me. And all the joy and happiness in his eyes. So I was like, wow, this is cool. Because there's a recognition of something. I like to think it was my paw, you know, or something like that coming through. Because I love my paw. And anyways, I kind of like to think it was something like that. But I don't know. But at any rate, this horse, like, recognized me or something, you know. And it just was licking me. And it was so happy to see me. None of the other horses acted like that. It was just this one. And so I'm elated. But there's this car. See, while this is going on, there's a car parked right next to me, like right there, right by the fence, as if it's waiting on someone. Now, I recognize the driver. He's a bus driver. And look, you know, I didn't know at that moment when I was losing the horse, I wasn't even paying him no attention, but it wasn't until I got in the car that I knew who it was. The thing is that after the horse licked me and all that, and I'm, you know, elated about it, I noticed this car, and so I walk over it, and I walk over to the passenger side, and I just open the car door, and I get in, and the gentleman sitting there looked at me like, what are you doing? You know, I got in, shut the door, and sat in his passenger seat. And he looked at me, and he asked me to get out, and I got out. I don't remember if I said anything to him, but after the horse did that, I walked over to that car and got in and sat down. And I don't remember what I said, if anything, but I remember him asking me to get out, I think, or what are you doing, or something. And I recognized him as being a bus driver in the area. But anyways, I get out of the car, and I continue my walk. And I get to this I was on part of a sidewalk near a gas station. And I took my shoes off. Because it was a sidewalk ended, and I think it began dirt, from what I remember. And I remember taking my shoes off, setting them down, and walking barefoot. Now, I think I had my socks on, but I I started walking, and I just continued walking down the road. And I walked and I walked until I got to this place where it was a pull-off, like a little rest, not a rest area. It was just a little pull-off in where a car could pull off at. And I just sat there on the sidewalk for a minute because I had been walking a while. And this car pulls up with an older gentleman and a woman in it. And they asked if I needed help or if I needed a lift anywhere. They just asked me if I was okay. Because the strip of road I'm on, there's nothing on. There's just mountains and trees, and there's nothing within distance to do anything. But anyways, I told them, no, I'm okay. I'm just sitting here taking a break. I don't need a lift. I'm all right. Don't worry about me. Go on. So they left. And as I'm looking across from me, I can see, there's a mountain in front of me, and I can see this ditch that looked like it had water in it. And something told me I'll just go walk across the street and go up on top of that mountain. Like, I'm being guided to do this. It's not really words, it's being guided. I mean, they're telling me to where I understand what to do. So they tell me, and I can tell it's three spirit people. I think, to be honest, some of this is real people, but this is spiritual, I know. But for some reason, I think that it's real people too somehow. But the three guides, there's three men. The one in the middle, now one, I don't know what they look like. One is the middle guy, and there's a guy on the other side. Now, the guy in the middle has gray hair. The guy on the one side is brown hair, and the other guy, I don't even know what he looks like, but these are my guides. And so I get up and I walk across the street. And I ended up, you have to go through the ditch to get onto the mountain. Well, I didn't know how deep this ditch was. But it was deep. Once I took a step off, thinking it was only going to go ankle, maybe thigh high, not thigh high, yeah, calf high, deep. I went all the way up to my neck. I mean, the water, when I stepped off, and that ditch, I don't know what they call it. It's not really a ditch. But the water went up to my neck, and I'm standing there, and I hear them tell me, to baptize myself, dunk my head under the water. So I do that, and he said, no, you didn't dunk it far enough. Lean, cover yourself, cover yourself, because I only went a little bit back, but he wanted me to dunk my whole head in. So I did that, and I got up, and he told me to get out, and I got out, and I started walking up this mountain. Now, one thing, I had jeans on, and I hate wet jeans, to wear wet jeans. And, anyways, I'm walking up this mountain, and I was being guided to strip down. So I take all my clothes off, and I'm up the mountain. Now, by the time this is happening, I am up the mountain quite a bit, and I notice there's a dunk, like a thing like this, where the ground goes in like this. Now, there's sheep on the mountain. There's loads of sheep on the mountain. But there's this incline, like an indentation in the ground, like this. So what I do is they guided me to strip down. So I am completely naked on top of this mountain. And I lie down in that incline. I lie down on my back, and I'm looking up at the sky, And the instructions were to spread my legs open. Now it's like this, where my knees would be up, and I just spread my knees, not spread my legs out wide, but spread my knees wider, because I had my knees up. I wasn't lying with my legs out straight. They were bent, and they wanted me to bend them open. I bent them open a little bit, and they said more. So I bent my legs all the way open, and I'm laying there. As soon as I bent my legs all the way opened, I had what I can see it, and it's hard to describe, but I'm going to say they were wolf men, or wolves with men's essences. They started, now I can't see them, this is all energetic, but a dozen wolf-like men started eating me. My body was shaking vigorously. It was just shaking really vigorously, my whole body. They were energetically eating me. I could feel them pulling at my energy all over my complete body. There was about a dozen of them. And this one mainly sticks out right here. He was but they were eating my energy, and my body was vigorously vibrating, right? Shaking. And I could swear this went on for about 3 minutes, it seemed like. A long time to be going like this, and them just eating at me all over my body, all of my energy. They were eating me. And then it stopped. And I got up, and I looked up towards the sun, because the sun was right above me. I looked at it, and I felt this energy, like a ray of sunshine, from the sun to my heart, from my heart to the sun. That's what happened. It was a transaction, I could feel it and see it from my heart to the sun to me. And I was going to continue walking, and I didn't want to do it nude. They wanted me to go completely nude and keep walking, but I at least put my shirt on. So I put my shirt on, and I continue walking, and I come across this fenced in. This is weird. Why have a tower? And it was exactly, if anybody knows tarot, the tower in the tarot is the tower that's behind this fence. And I thought, that's the strangest thing. Why have a fenced in tower? And I didn't have panties on or anything. I thought I was going to climb the fence. I said, no, I'm not going to do that. So I don't climb the fence. I don't do anything. I'm just looking at this tower. And it reminds me of the tower in the tarot, which is exactly what it looked like. And so I noticed it. I stood there for a few, looking at it, questioning it. And then I continued on walking. And I'm walking, and I'm walking, and I'm walking. And I'm in the woods. And all of a sudden, excuse me, I was going to burp. All of a sudden, I am encased in what I referred to as a bird cage. I don't know how I ended up in this. There was stems from trees had me in a bird cage. And for one thing, how did I get in there? How in the world did I don't know how, walk into this cage, like a bird cage. Now, I got to think, in the UK, sometimes they call females birds. And that's what came to my mind, because I'm in the UK and I'm in a bird cage and I'm a female. So I'm like, that's what it felt like. I was in a bird cage, and I couldn't figure out how to get out. I'm looking around, I couldn't figure out how to get out of here. I looked at my feet, and I kid you not, the earth beneath my feet moved. It opened. and then I could walk out. So that's what I did. I ended up walking out of this. And I'm thinking, I couldn't figure out consciously, how do I get out of this thing? And I look at my feet, and the earth literally moved beneath my feet. And I was able to walk out. So I continue walking. Well, I had to pee, I just squatted there. There's nobody up there with me. Oh, I forgot about the sheep. Oh, what I was going to say was after the wolfmen ate me, I got up and the sun did that, and I started walking. There was a herd of sheep. And I can remember trying to walking back down the mountain like how sheep do. There was this one sheep in the whole herd that had a gold aura, a gold thing around it, and I was following that gold sheep amongst the herd. Like, I don't know what that meant, but that was just something that happened. But anyways, I continue walking after the earth moved, and I'm walking and walking, and I come to I can see ahead of me there's a gate. But before I can get, and after the gate is the road. So I've walked a good while to get to where I'm at. But right before I was going to exit, I could see it ahead of me, I noticed a herd of cows. Beautiful. Brown, sheen, dark, big, brown, black eyes. Beautiful. Every eye of that herd of cows, and there must have been 50, or, at least 50 cows, all looked the same, all standing there looking at me, all of them. And so, basically, I was being instructed. There's a big cow pat, hay and stuff, like, it was a big round, hay cow patty kind of thing that was beside me. So I turned my back to the cows, and I knelt down on this cow patty thing. I closed my eyes, and I bent my head down as if to pray, and I kept my eyes shut for a few minutes, and then I turned around, and all the cows were gone. They were gone. I didn't stay down there long, but it was enough. I mean, it was a couple minutes, and I turned around, and every cow was gone. There was not a cow in sight. So I get up, and I walk out the gate, and I stand on the side of the road. Now, I got my shirt on that it barely covers my ass, but it's long enough to do that. And I stand on the sidewalk, and I notice there's a car on the other side of the street that can see me. And I'm standing there with this shirt, and I just stand there, and I just look at my feet. And I kept repeating mojo. Mojo. That's all I said was mojo. And I'm just looking at my feet till the police pull up, and they get me in the car, and they take me to the mental hospital where Tisa Howie, where I had went before. They took me to Tisa Howie, and that's where I was. And my ex didn't know about he didn't even come find me or try to look for me even when I took off walking. Originally, he didn't try to stop me or nothing, but that's where he located me at. Eventually, he called the mental hospital in Tisa Howie, and they said, yeah, I was there. But that happened to me, which is really strange and weird. It was a spiritual experience that was just really, really odd.